Well, once again, the Democrats don't fail to disappoint, proving that they have learned absolutely nothing since the reelection of Donald Trump. Not only did they, over the weekend, make David Hogg their vice president of the DNC. I'll have more to say about that in the coming days. Chuck E. Cheese Schumer is worried you won't be able to get drunk and have your favorite dip for the big game.
Let's just take Super Bowl Sunday, okay? It's going to affect beer, okay? Most of it, Corona here, comes from Mexico. It's going to affect your guac, because what is guacamole made of? Avocados, both from Mexico.
Oh, I got a couple of things to say. You know I do.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. This is the Afternoon Drive. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. It's the only way that we get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Afternoon Drive. In the past week or so, libloons have been flipping out, and we're watching even guys like Stephen A., who had moved to the right since the election, obviously getting backlash from his Hollyweird friends and people within the media entertainment industry, is now swinging back to the left and talking about, Donald Trump is only catering to his extreme base, and, there were a lot of other people that put him in office and he needs to focus on that. Stephen A., let me help you. Number one, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Your thing is sports. Stay there. Politics apparently is just a little bit beyond your ability to grasp what's actually happening. Stephen A., I'll liken what Donald Trump is doing right now to a sports analogy, and then maybe you can get your head around it. You do understand that all of the firings that are taking place, that the fact that there are certain things that, yes, he did promise the American people that he hasn't delivered on yet. After all, he's only been in office, 14 days. He hasn't got all his cabinet picks secured yet. And because he doesn't have all of his cabinet picks in place, are you ready for this, Stephen? Are you ready? Lean in. No, seriously, Stephen. Lean in, I'm going to help you. He doesn't have the whole team together yet. During the off season, like right now, as we get ready for spring training, baseball rosters are not yet complete. They're still assembling key parts of the team. Now, in a couple weeks, spring training will begin, pitchers and catchers will report, and a new baseball season will be upon us by April. Great, looking forward to it. But right now, teams are still assembling. Donald Trump is still assembling his team. So right now, he has to do the things with the team that he's got in place that have control of the areas in which he can make the changes. Other areas that still need change, he knows that. He's got to wait till the captain of those teams, i.e. his cabinet appointees, get approved by the Senate. Have we got that, Stephen? Is that clear now? Good. Get back to basketball, get back to football, get back to baseball, and leave politics to the rest of us. Moving forward. For the last couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of nervous hand-wringing. Donald Trump is just unhinged. He's talking about invading Panama. No, he's talking about taking the Panama Canal back over. Again, the book, The Art of the Deal. You always go in with the big ask, the over-the-top ask. We're going to get Greenland. And I'll explain that in a minute. So what does he do? He says what we're paying to go through the Panama Canal, which we built, is not fair. It's not right. And we gave this to Panama, and now Panama has China running it. We're taking it back. And what did the Panamanian president do this weekend? He bent the knee to Donald Trump. China is out. They are no longer allowed to run the canal. The U.S. will have greater control over the canal. The president of Panama gets to save face and kind of quote unquote retain ownership of it. But I can promise you, America's going to get some really great, fantastic rates going through with our vessels and with our Navy. Trump wins. As we watched all the hand-wringing at CNN and PMSNBC and all of the libloons on Capitol Hill. Then the trade war. How dare Donald Trump declare a trade war on Canada and our beloved Mexico? Well, Justin Trudeau is kind of a moron. I think we can all agree on that. He's out. He's got no confidence even among his own party members. What does he do when Donald Trump announces a 25% tariff on Canadian goods? He responds by saying, well, we're going to put a 25% tariff on American goods. Canada is a far bigger exporter than they are importer, which means they've already lost this little trade war. It means when one country hits you with a 25% tariff and you counter respond by hitting them with a 25% tariff, that only works if the export-import is equal. If what you are importing from them matches what you are exporting to them, then the 25% tariffs cancel each other because it's even. But when you are exporting far more than you're importing, and the country receiving your exported goods is putting tariffs on them to the point that suppliers and the people are now looking for other products besides yours. Do you get basic math and economics? Apparently not, Trudeau. That's why your socialist loon agenda is about to be kicked to the curb by Canadians. But Chuck E. Cheese Shumer, worried that you won't be able to have your favorite snacks on the night of the big game, Super Bowl, came up with this brilliant analysis.
Let's just take Super Bowl Sunday, okay? It's going to affect beer, okay? Most of it, Corona here, comes from Mexico. It's going to affect your guac, because what is guacamole made of? Avocados, both from Mexico.
Chuck, what about America first? Seriously, what about America first? Hey, we have an entire city in this country that's main industry is brewing beer. American beer. Lots of brands are brewed in this one city. I'm thinking of the city of, they've even got a baseball team called the Brewers. What city could I possibly be thinking of in the United States? You know, where Chuck Schumer is supposed to be a United States senator having the best interest of. Milwaukee. Milwaukee brews beer. And with all of these new microbreweries that are popping up, just about every state of the union has dozens of cities and even towns where there are these microbreweries that are just brewing their own brew, their own beer, their own ale. It's everywhere. I promise you, Chuck, if people can't get Corona on the night of the big game, they can get Miller beer. They can get fill in the blank. I'm not a beer drinker. I don't know. In fact, Bud Light might actually have a chance to regain some market share that it tanked after it went temporarily woke and had Dylan Mulvaney on some cans. Are you worried about the American breweries? No, you're worried about the Mexican brewery and avocado. What are we going to do without our guac dip? I don't know. Cheese dip? French onion? Ranch? I don't know. There's 100 million other dips out there. You can even make queso. Do you know you can make salsa with American ingredients? Do you know, I'll bet we've got farmers in the United States that grow avocados. Just a thought there. Just a random thought off the top of my head. Do you understand that tariffs actually, in the long term, benefit us? Now, the Democrats will try to scare you. It's going to just drive the prices up. And Chuck E. Cheese, I mean, he was going on and on about at a time when the American people need relief. Trump is driving the prices at the supermarket up. I didn't hear any of that during Joe Biden's reign. In fact, we were told we were imagining inflation. We were told that the prices at the supermarket were not that bad. We were told that eggs costing $12 a dozen was just simply market adjustment, that for years eggs had not gone up in price, and this was the natural norm. This is what the Democrats and CNN and PMSNBC and the rest of that lying ilk said to the American people. Donald Trump has been in office 2 weeks. And because gas prices aren't 50 cents a gallon again and milk isn't being handed out for free, somehow the prices at the grocery store are Donald Trump's fault. It does take time to reverse this collision course that Joe and Kamala had us on, and the rest of that ilk Democrat Party and the rhinos who voted with them, because rhinos are nothing more than Democrats dressed in Republican drag. How dare he? But those driving of the prices up temporarily over the long run means, hey, America, these goods that you might have to pay a tariff on if you still want to buy, could we make those things here? Could we bring American manufacturing back here? Could we, not playing checkers, but playing chess, the long game, could we see how the tariffs actually benefit America over the long term? Bum, ba-dum, bum. Oh, and by the way, Chucky, apparently we are going to have our avocados and our Corona beer if we want it, because just like Panama, the Mexican president, she has bent the knee to Donald Trump. He has put a hold on the Mexican tariffs because she has asked for time to assemble 10,000 Mexican soldiers at our southern border. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Hey, Justine, you're alone now. All Trump asked you to do was tighten up that northern border, and you basically went, okay. You know, those Dudley Do-Right Mounties of yours might be looking for something to do. If you had even made the gesture that you were going to attempt to tighten up that border, Trump probably would have put your tariffs on hold too. In the end, Trump wants to bankrupt Canada. I'm convinced of that. And don't freak out. We're not going to invade and conquer Canada. But Canada is kind of like a flea bite on our backside. You know, we have to keep subsidizing them. If we're going to subsidize them, we might as well control them. And then to Greenland. When Donald Trump proposed Greenland, everybody freaked out, like, what kind of a maniac is he? Oh, I don't know. Now the people of Greenland are demanding their freedom from Denmark because they would like to see their economy grow, and they don't want to be controlled by China. And they wouldn't mind Americans coming over and living there and building up their cities and their infrastructure, because they know if America comes over to start harvesting, if you will, those natural resources, hey, that means jobs. It means their overall life will financially improve. They'll have better cities, roads, towns, merchandise, etc., etc., etc. By the way, interesting little note, if you look at where Greenland is located, New York City is closer to Greenland than is Denmark, who right now has the controlling interest over Greenland. Bum, ba-dum, bum. And it's loaded with natural resources. And we need to get our hands on them and not let that fall into Chinese or Russian hands. So, and the people in Greenland, they're open to being annexed by the United States. They're actually open to it. They just have to free themselves from Denmark. It's not that wild either.
What about renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America?
Well, if you study it out, the shoreline of the Gulf, 1,700 miles of it is Mexican. 1,700 miles of it is also American. So Trump just deciding, hey, we're going to call this the Gulf of America. Is that any different than these libloon presidents and politicians who have just decided with the stroke of a pen and a whim, they're renaming mountains, renaming schools, renaming military bases, erasing our history, going woke on how they've done everything? Trump is just, again, part of the deal, that over-the-top ask, which is fine. You want to rename Mount McKinley? I'm going to rename the Gulf of Mexico. Ba-dum-ba-dum. Donald Trump is having a phenomenal run at Trump 2.0, MAGA 2.0, whatever you want to call it. Already, Panama has bowed. Mexico has bowed. Trudeau's too stupid to know that he's lost before this war ever got started. And we probably will annex Greenland. All while Stephen A's over there saying, Trump not doing his job, Trump not doing his job, Trump not doing his job. Trump is doing his job. The problem is you don't understand it. So go back to basketball practice and tell us what LeBron is doing. We really don't care for your insight on what you think Trump is doing.